Oh, no, I didn't miss it. I hit my head. I feel pretty good tonight. And I should, because today I was named Playmate of the Month.
Dean Martin's life changed forever in 1987 when he lost his son in a tragic plane crash. From that day on, the man known as the King of Cool was never the same. He pulled away from public life, turned down million-dollar offers, and spent his final years living quietly by himself. When he died on Christmas Day 1995, he left behind an extraordinary fortune that would change his family's lives forever. This is the story of how a poor Italian immigrant son built an empire and the emotional legacy that came with it. Dean Martin was born on June 7, 1917, in Steubenville, Ohio. His real name was Dino Paul Crocetti, and his parents were Italian immigrants trying to build a better life in America. When Dino started school at age 5, he only spoke Italian, not English. This created big problems for him. Other kids made fun of him for his broken English and his Italian name. Dino felt like he didn't belong and had to find ways to protect himself. That's when he learned to use humor. He discovered that making people laugh could turn their teasing into friendship. This skill would later help him win over audiences around the world. By the time he was a teenager, Dino found escape through playing the drums. It brought him joy and sparked his love for performing. At 16, he dropped out of school, feeling he didn't need formal education and deciding to work instead. His first jobs were tough. He worked in a steel mill where the work was hot, dirty, and exhausting. He also tried boxing, calling himself Kid Crochet. He fought 12 matches and later joked that he only won one of them. Boxing left him with scars, broken knuckles, and a crooked nose, but it also taught him to be tough. Dino wasn't afraid to take risks. During Prohibition, he bootlegged liquor, smuggling alcohol when it was illegal. He also worked as a blackjack dealer in secret gambling clubs. These jobs introduced him to nightlife and people who lived on the edge, giving him a toughness and charm that stayed with him forever. By the early 1940s, Dino started singing in nightclubs. He called himself Dino Martini, inspired by a famous opera singer. His smooth, relaxed singing style caught people's attention. A band leader named Sammy Watkins noticed him and suggested he change his name to Dean Martin. This marked the start of a new chapter in his life. Not everything came easily. When Dean performed at a fancy New York club, he completely failed. It was embarrassing, but he didn't give up. He kept singing, learning, and improving. During this time, he met a young comedian named Jerry Lewis. In 1945, Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis met for the first time at the Glass Hat Club in New York City. Martin was already a popular nightclub singer known for his smooth voice and charming style. Jerry Lewis was just starting out as a comedian and struggling to find his place. Their first meeting happened by chance during one of Martin's performances. Lewis, in his usual playful way, began interrupting Martin's act with silly jokes and wild behavior. At first, it seemed like it might ruin the show, but something unexpected happened. The audience loved it. They laughed so much that both men realized they had stumbled onto something special. After that night, they started performing together at different clubs in New York. The pairing of Martin's cool, relaxed singing with Lewis's over-the-top humor was fresh and exciting. Audiences couldn't get enough of their mix of music and comedy. Their big break as a duo came on July 25, 1946, at the 500 Club in Atlantic City. They were originally booked as separate acts, but when another performer canceled, they decided to team up. That night, Lewis dressed as a busboy and crashed Martin's set, pretending to clean tables, dropping dishes, and making ridiculous jokes. The chaos was hilarious. Martin played along, and their act turned into a perfect mix of music and comedy. The audience went wild, and even the club owner, who had been nervous about the idea, admitted they were a hit. By 1949, they were so popular that NBC offered them their own radio show, The Martin and Lewis Show. It became one of the most listened-to programs in America, bringing their unique humor into people's homes. As their fame grew, Hollywood noticed them. Their first movie, My Friend Irma, came out in 1949. Even though they weren't the main stars of the film, audiences loved them. Their chemistry on screen was just as strong as it was on stage, and the success of the movie made them Hollywood stars. Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis changed television forever when they starred in the Colgate Comedy Hour from 1950 to 1955. Their teamwork and sense of humor were unlike anything people had seen before. They didn't just stick to the script. They joked, made things up on the spot, and made every performance feel alive and unpredictable. Their success on TV led them straight to Hollywood. Between 1949 and 1956, they made 16 movies, many of which were huge hits. By 1951, they were the most popular entertainers in the world. That year, they earned $1 million, an amount equal to more than $12 million today. However, their partnership didn't last forever. By 1952, Dean was growing tired of being seen as just the straight man. Jerry got the big laughs, and Dean felt like his role was simply to set him up for jokes. The breaking point came in 1956 during the planning of The Delicate Delinquent. Dean was supposed to play a policeman but refused. It was clear he had had enough of playing second fiddle. The two were also very different as people. Jerry was a perfectionist, rehearsing endlessly and controlling every detail, while Dean was relaxed and didn't take things as seriously. Their final performance came on July 25, 1956, at the Copacabana in New York, exactly 10 years after their debut as a duo. The room was packed with stars like Frank Sinatra and Humphrey Bogart. The audience gave them thunderous applause, but the magic wasn't the same. Their banter felt forced, and their comedy lacked its old spark. The show ended with a standing ovation that lasted 5 minutes, but it was truly the end of their partnership. When Dean Martin split from Jerry Lewis in 1956, people thought his career might be over. But instead of fading away, he surprised everyone by becoming a huge star on his own. His first movie without Lewis didn't do well, but things turned around in 1958 when he starred in The Young Lions, a war movie with Marlon Brando. This showed he could handle serious roles, not just comedy. Critics loved his performance, and it helped him rebuild his reputation as an actor. At the same time, Martin's music career was booming. He signed with Capitol Records and released hit after hit. One of his most famous songs, Volare, came out in 1958 and became a huge success. Then, in 1964, he released Everybody Loves Somebody, a song that became his biggest hit. It even knocked the Beatles off the top of the charts, showing that Martin still had what it took to be a superstar. Dean Martin's life changed forever when he joined the Rat Pack in the late 1950s. This group of entertainers included Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., Joey Bishop, and Peter Lawford. They weren't just performers. They were the kings of Las Vegas and the face of Hollywood glamour. The Rat Pack's shows at the Sands Hotel were legendary. They didn't just sing. They joked, teased each other, and made the audience feel like they were part of something special. Dean Martin became a star on television with The Dean Martin Show, which aired from 1965 to 1974. Over 9 years, it became one of the most popular shows on NBC, running for 264 episodes. The show was a mix of comedy, music, and celebrity guests. What made it special was Martin himself. He had a laid-back style, always looking cool and relaxed, often holding a drink. People loved him because he seemed like someone who didn't take life too seriously. Dean Martin's personal life was as interesting as his career. He was married 3 times and had 8 children. His first wife was Betty McDonald, whom he married in 1941. They had 4 children together. In 1949, Dean married Jean Baker. This marriage lasted 24 years and felt more stable than his first. They had 3 children together. Dean's third marriage in 1973 was to Catherine Hahn. Dean adopted her daughter Sasha and treated her like his own child. Through all these changes, Dean's role as a father stayed constant. No matter how busy or famous he became, he always tried to be there for his children. In 1987, tragedy struck when his son Dean Paul Martin died in a plane crash. Dean Paul was flying a military jet during a training mission when it crashed into a mountain. He was only 35 years old. The loss broke Martin's heart. Friends noticed he became quieter and more withdrawn. This event changed everything for him. After his son's death, Martin decided to stop performing. He turned down offers and even ended a reunion tour with Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. He didn't want the pressure of public life anymore. Instead, he focused on simple things that made him happy. Golf became one of his favorite hobbies. He spent afternoons on the golf course, enjoying the peace and quiet. He also loved watching old Western movies, which reminded him of a simpler time. Martin stayed away from Hollywood and spent his time with close friends, enjoying the things that brought him joy. By the time he passed away on Christmas Day in 1995, he had built a fortune of $30 million. This incredible wealth came from decades of success as a singer, actor, and comedian. Dean Martin didn't just focus on his career. He also made smart investments in real estate. To make sure his family would be cared for after he was gone, Martin created the Dean Martin Family Trust. This trust managed the royalties from his music, TV shows, and licensing deals. Even after his death, Dean Martin's name remains iconic. His estate has kept up with changing times. Streaming platforms and social media have helped younger generations discover his music and movies. One of Dean's children, Deanna Martin, has played a big role in honoring his legacy. She tours around the world singing his famous songs and sharing stories about him. The deal with management groups has brought fresh ideas for keeping Dean Martin relevant, showing how his charm and talent continue to inspire people today.